What up, Shredder? Some people have figured out a way to hack life, to get so good at what they love that they get exactly what they want. Maybe it's Novak Djokovic changing his diet to make him a better tennis player, or Eminem running 17 miles a day to stay sober and write better songs. But what if I told you there was a way to hack your snowboarding, so that no matter how many days you get in, whether it's 10 or 100, no matter where you live, whether it's Ohio or Colorado, and no matter how old you are, whether it's 15 or 50, you could show up and have your friends ask, when did you get so good? You could be the Kobe of your hometown resort. That's what we're gonna cover. Plus, I'm gonna tell you what 2 things Shaun White had in his backyard growing up that led to him getting so good. Guess what those 2 things are in the comments right now? Then respond to your comment at the end of the video and let us know if you got it right. We'll randomly select one of you who guessed it right and give you a free season pass to Shred School. Let's get into it. A lot of people don't know this, but Tony Hawk got invited to be a pro snowboarder in the 90s by one of the big brands at the time, Kemper. The only reason he refused was that he overshot a jump on his snowboard and blew out his knee and had to have surgery. So he thought it was too risky for his skating career. He also said in the early days, snowboarders were treated like skaters. Everyone thought you were a criminal.
Quite a lot of them are uncooperative.
So how was he good enough to be pro when he didn't really spend that much time snowboarding? Or let's take a look at Anna Gasser. She didn't really start snowboarding until 18 years of age, yet she went on to dominate women's competition, winning gold at X Games and the Olympics. So how is it possible that she got better than all the Groms, competing since they were 3 years old? Or why is Scotty James, one of the winningest halfpipe athletes of all time, always showing himself working out in the gym? And why are American football teams always watching videos of old games instead of just practicing out on the field? It turns out there's a lot more to snowboarding than just showing up on the hill and pointing it. In fact, there's 5 key areas that if you work on them in the off season, you can show up better than you were the year before. And not a little bit, you can show up a lot better. It's kind of like studying a new language. You won't quite master it without practicing with other people, but you can get a lot further than not doing anything at all.
You speak very good French.
Gracias.
And you won't become the greatest snowboarder ever without getting on snow, but once you actually get back on the snow, with these 5 things, you're gonna get there so much faster. Snowboard hack number 1, the trampoline. You remember Anna Gasser? Yeah, it turns out she was a gymnast before she went on to win gold in Olympic big air. I know not everyone is so lucky, but growing up, my neighbors had a trampoline. Once every few weeks, we managed to sneak in and bounce and learn the motion of going head over heels well enough that I didn't kill myself once I actually made it out on the snow. When it wasn't that, it was leaf piles or foam pits or mattresses in my bedroom. Really any opportunity to get in the air and increase my air awareness, to teach my body what it feels like to be flipping and spinning through the air without panicking, with or without a board on my feet. So pull out Google Maps, scope the satellite, and make new friends with the neighbors who have a tramp. Buy one for your own house or go to your local trampoline center. Do whatever you can to get as much airtime as you can. And the next time you're floating through space on your snowboard, you won't start to panic because you're already used to it. Snowboard hack number 2, skateboarding. In the Shaun White documentary, Shaun had 2 things in his backyard. The first was a trampoline. The second was the mini ramp. For those of you who don't know, that's like a small half pipe. Shaun not only went on to become one of the GOATs and a pioneer of the sport, but he became the only athlete to win gold medals at both Winter and Summer X Games. Remember Tony Hawk being offered a job as a pro snowboarder? Turns out that these skills are transferable. Just because there's no edges on your skate deck doesn't mean it's not teaching you the cardio, strength, balance, and most of all, the understanding of how a board and a transition interact. Find your local park, build your own mini ramp, or at the very least, just cruise your electric longboard around the neighborhood. This hack is probably going to make the biggest difference of them all when it comes to getting good at snowboarding fast. And it's also the one that the fewest people will actually do. Because let's face it, concrete and pavement hurt more than snow. Snowboard hack number 3, weightlifting. In high school, my friend Keith entered the big air competition, throwing down backside rodeos. The only catch was Keith was different than the rest of us. We were all 13 years old, while Keith was 30, and he had only been snowboarding for about 2 years, and here he is throwing down with the best of them. At the time, I thought 30 was way too old to go upside down on your snowboard. Now I know better, but it turns out Keith was a bodybuilder. So even if he took slam after slam in his attempts to nail his backside rodeo, his body could take it. He had the power and the strength to go for it again and again, and to do it all without getting injured in his 30s. If you want to shred like you did as a teenager, it's time to strength train. Not only is it one of the best things you can do for injury prevention and getting stomping legs, but it shows remarkable benefits across your mental health, sleep, mood, cognitive performance, posture, disease prevention, back pain, self-esteem, and even lifespan. You get it? Strength training is the miracle drug. Not to mention, chicks dig it. I used to think hitting the gym was only for jocks, but now I realize it's for anyone who wants to look, feel, and perform at their best. Plus, if you want to turn it into an extreme sport, just go to CrossFit and throw some heavy weights around. You'll get the adrenaline going in no time. Snowboard hack number 4 is yoga. I hated yoga. In fact, I dated a girl in college who loved it, and I refused to do it for our entire relationship. A couple years later, I tried hot yoga, and I became a certified yoga instructor shortly after that. Think about the discipline and focus required to hit an 80-foot park jump, and the mental clarity you have after shredding a line you didn't think you could do. That's how it feels after a hot yoga class, but you can do it 5 days a week and almost never get injured. I think it was the mobility duo who said snowboard grabs are just yoga on the board. Then I started looking at some pictures of mine and I realized they were right. In my 30s, I can still reach grabs that some of my friends wouldn't dare reach for, and I have more mobility than I did as a teenager. If you want mobility and flexibility and to feel good in your body, I highly recommend giving yoga a shot. The only caveat is the first time, you're gonna hate it. Part of the practice is learning to deal with uncomfortable feelings, physical and mental. So stick with it for 5 days and you'll unlock the power. Snowboard hack number 5, mental training. The Buddha said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And no, I'm not some spiritual guru, but I have built multi-million-dollar companies, traveled the world, and built my dream life. And it's true that all of it started in my mind. You have to see it before you can believe it. Just like I would lie awake at night visualizing my snowboard run before a big contest, and before that in high school, we would rewind the VCR. I know that gives away my age. And I would study how Bjorn Linus takes off the jump for a Cab 900 in the Resistance. And it's the same reason winning sports teams and MMA fighters study tape before the game. You have to study the mental game of snowboarding, understand the trick, visualize it, watch someone else do it, and figure out how it actually works. Then you can go out and test your ideas against reality. See what happens when you try to make the vision in your mind real and adjust accordingly. That's how to get pretty much anything you want in life. Formulate your vision, bring it into reality, and adjust based on feedback. And if you can do that, the world is yours. So that's it, 5 hacks to show up better than you left the season before. I guarantee if you implement even one of these, you'll start to have more fun snowboarding, be able to ride longer, and learn tricks faster. But if you learn all 5, well, that's when you enter the realm of the greats. Remember, there's a whole lot more that goes into becoming a shredder than just what happens on snow. Let us know in the comments, which one of these do you do, and what do you want to try? And what other things do you do to get ready for the season? We'll be selecting 2 of you in the comments to win Shred School season passes. 1 for those Shaun White trivia questions, and 1 for this answer. That's all for today. Peace out, Shredder.